This ending scene, Ranjith called action, and what you see, I'm not going to tell you what you see, but it's an amazing scene. It's an amazing scene.
The Chennai Silks RD sale தூத்துக்குடியில் ஜூலை 12 முதல் காலாகல ஆரம்பம்.
VV National Plastic Chairs உடலுக்கு ரெஸ்ட், சேருக்கு பெஸ்ட்.
DNC Chits நம்பிக்கையே எங்கள் பாரம்பரியம்.
சிட்டுனா DNC சட்டுன்னு பணம் வரும்.
Pa Ranjith threw us into a river for 2 days. And when I say a river, I'm talking like a fast, rapid river. This guy is not your just average Indian actor or an actor like you would see in Bollywood, for example. This guy is on a different level. He's committed, he's passionate, fiery, and I thought this is a really interesting actor. Pa Ranjith is an incredible filmmaker, and if you look at Sapartha or Madras, first thing that comes across is the energy of his filmmaking, his passion. It doesn't matter what the subject matter is. Pa Ranjith has a certain, he's like a laser that cuts through straight into the audience. If Vikram was in the West, Vikram could do any Marvel character, any, because you all know how transformative he is. That guy, I thought I was the idiot who has to put on weight and make myself suffer or lose weight. But Vikram completely outdoes me. He will go like a stick for a role.
Hi sir, how are you?
Hello, how are you?
First of all, congrats and welcome to Indian cinema.
Thank you.
Can you describe your character in Thangalaan?
My character Clement is this very powerful man who arrives in this village because he wants to find this gold. He's a character that is based in the 1800s. He's an ex-army officer, and he has come to this region to basically make his fortune and discover what he thinks is gold in this place.
Vikram is known for versatile acting and intense performing. What was it like to be working alongside with him?
Before I started Thangalaan, I had to do my research on Pa Ranjith. I didn't know who he was. And when I did my research, I was like, wow, Pa Ranjith, this is an incredible director. And I agreed to work with him because of that. With Vikram, I had to do the same. So with Vikram, I had to they sent me this compilation of all his work. And immediately, because I was worried, I was thinking, who are the actors I'm going to work alongside? And immediately I could see with Vikram, this guy is not your just average Indian actor or an actor like you would see in Bollywood, for example, maybe. This guy is on a different level. He's committed, he's passionate, fiery. And I thought, this is a really interesting actor. But then the other thought in my head was, am I going to have a connection with him? Am I going to get on with him? So the first time I met Vikram, he came up to me and he was just such an open, gracious individual, just a real gentleman. And he made me feel at ease, and like all the cast did. But the most important thing was on set, very quickly, it became apparent that Vikram and I had almost a psychic understanding of each other. We worked so well together. He was always there for me. He was super generous. It didn't matter if it was like 4 o'clock in the morning, we were cold and tired. Vikram is always there. He's always there. And if he's behind the camera, like on my reversed shot, he's absolutely committed. He's there with me. Doesn't change his acting style. So, some actors behind the camera, they'll just be like, oh, I want to go home. But when we were doing the reverse shots, he was amazing. And I'm also fortunate enough now to call him my friend, and which is the biggest thing. So that's what I think of Vikram.
If Vikram could act in any comic character in Hollywood, what character should he do?
Well, for a start, if Vikram was in the West, right?
Yeah.
Vikram could do any Marvel character, any, because you all know how transformative he is. That guy, I thought I was the idiot who has to put on weight and make myself suffer or lose weight. But Vikram completely outdoes me. He will go like a stick for a role. Vikram, okay, this is why Vikram is different to other big Indian Bollywood, Indian stars in general, not just Bollywood, Tollywood, Collywood, whatever. Vikram does not mind looking bad. That's the difference, right? He's not worried about his hair or the makeup. Vikram will look like he's just walked out of a manure, like of the ground, like he's just rolled around in the ground. He's been living in the ground for like 15 years. That's what he'll look like. He's not vain. He really embodies the role. So he could play any Marvel character. He could transform. He could also, he's going to like this one. I know you're going to like this, Vikram. He could be James Bond. He could be an Indian James Bond. He would be amazing.
What are the biggest challenges you faced for performing this role?
Wow. There were so many challenges. The physical environment, so we're talking about mountains, jungle, there's a bit of desert. We were thrown, Ranjith threw us into a river for 2 days. And when I say a river, I'm talking like a fast, rapid river that was coming from the mountains where, you know, the ice melts and it comes down. And there was water surging past us for 2 days. That was really hard. So you had the physical environment, how to work within that, with the heat, the cold sometimes. Remember, we filmed for a long time, a year. And then there was another sort of challenge, which is the acting side of it, the trying to get ready for the character. I had to put weight on to make Clement to seem more kind of like this animal. Every time you see Clement's physicality in the film, he is like this kind of a bull, you know, a bull. And I had to put weight on for that to make him heavier. And then also get into his mind. He's a very complicated character, Clement, very complicated. Like I said before, with lots of different levels. So I had to change my acting style as well, because my acting style in the West, in Hollywood, is very natural. But this period piece, Ranjith required something bigger. So I had to get in my head mentally, trying to prepare for that and try to let go of my own style and inhabit this new way of acting, which was difficult at first, very difficult. So there was a lot of challenges.
Can you share some memorable moment or scene from Thangalaan that you partially enjoyed?
This ending scene is very powerful. And before we were going to start the scene, the 3 actors involved, I'm not going to tell you who they are because it might spoil something, but we had a moment where we looked at each other and we knew it was the end, the final bit, and we knew how important this pivotal role in the film was. That if this scene doesn't work, the film wouldn't quite work. So we kind of just looked at each other and we didn't say anything. We just had that look and we were like, "Are you ready?" And we're like, "Ready." It was just communicated. Because by that point we knew each other so well. And then Ranjit called action. And what you see, I'm not going to tell you what you see, but it's an amazing scene. It's an amazing scene. But when you see that scene, know that we are super connected between us, really connected.
Ranjith is a visionary director, and how did his direction shape your performance in Thangalaan?
Well, Ranjith is an incredible filmmaker, and if you look at Saparta or Madras, the first thing that comes across is the energy of his filmmaking, his passion. It doesn't matter what the subject matter is. Ranjith has a certain, he's like a laser that cuts through straight into the audience. So his style, it doesn't matter what the period is. This is a period in the 1800s. His style is always about keeping that maximum energy. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Doesn't matter what time of the day. Doesn't matter if you're tired, hungry, sick, injured. I was injured. There was a lot of injuries. It's like, keep going, Daniel. Just keep going. So one of the reasons he picked me is because he wanted an actor who could understand his style. That's why when we had a meeting and we talked, he wanted to know what I was about. He didn't want an English actor to come here and then say, I can't do this, or phone up their agent and say, oh, this is too tough for me to do. He wanted someone who was going to jump in and be part of this team. So Ranjith's style, if I'm going to give you one word, is commitment. You have to be committed to work with Ranjith. You cannot be 80%, 90%, 98% still Ranjith's going to go, come on, man. He wants 110. He wants 110. And if he doesn't feel like you're going to give it to you, you're going to give it to him, he's going to be on that microphone, like saying, Daniel, come on, more, man, more. So that's Ranjith, committed. That's his style.
Were there been any memorable interaction or discussion between you and Vikram?
Well, there were many discussions that Vikram and I had over a period of a year. You can imagine 1 year, right? Personal stuff, I'm not going to tell you, it's a secret. But working-wise, what makes Vikram such a good actor is Vikram is a curious person. He has this childlike quality where he wants to know everything about you, and he wants to know about different styles. He wants to know what's going on in the West. He asks multiple questions, but not just of me. He wants to know about every job on the crew. He wants to know, how do you do that? How do you film that? How do you do set design? If you left Vikram on his own in a film, he could pretty much do the whole film himself. He could direct it, he could do the lighting, he could do the camera work, he could do makeup, he could do costume, because he tries to find out about how everything works. So with me, he was like asking me questions about my style, and I mean, he learned my style, obviously, but he asked me about the West a lot, and Vikram is a very keen observer of different styles of film. He loves watching Hollywood movies, and he was curious about some of my performances in certain films. So the one thing I love about him is his curiosity. I talked about Ranjith's commitment. So Vikram is curious, very committed, obviously, but he has this quality. He wants to know about you, and he's very, very intelligent. That's what makes you a great actor. You can't be a great actor without intelligence. I'm telling you now, I've been lucky. I've worked with some of the worst actors in the world and some of the best actors in the world, some of the biggest actors in the world. And what they have in common, the ones that are the best, is their intelligence. And Vikram is that. Okay, Thangalaan, Parnam, August 15th, Theatre Paranam.
The Chennai Silks ஆடி சேல் தூத்துக்குடியில் ஜூலை 12 முதல் கோலாகல ஆரம்பம்.
VV National Plastic Chairs உடலுக்கு ரெஸ்ட், சேருக்கு பெஸ்ட்.
DNC Chits நம்பிக்கையே எங்கள் பாரம்பரியம்.
சிட்டுனா DNC சட்டுன்னு பணம் வரும்.